Hello and welcome to another Learn Sanskrit lesson, and this time we are in lesson 15 and we are doing the exercises, one of the exercises here for lesson 15. And in this video we are going to do something we haven't done in our exercises before. We are going to transform a Sanskrit sentence to another sentence construction, as we have learned in the lecture, one of the lecture videos here in lesson 15. So we have this formal analysis conversion process from nominal to verbal sentence. So it's about sentence construction. It's about expressing the approximately the same thing in two different ways. So I have here on the first sheet here I have just indicated the three sentences we are going to attack in this video, and so if you want, you can stop the video here and you can copy them down to your own paper, and then you can do your formal analysis conversion yourself. You can try to do it first at least, and then if you can't solve it, then you can watch the rest of this video. But this is not, I'm not asking you just to state, I'm not asking you to produce just one Sanskrit sentence that is a verbal variant of this nominal sentence. I'm asking you to go through the 6-step procedure, the formal analysis, just to get the sense for what the steps are. And in this process also we are practicing our vocabulary, and we are also translating, but we're not translating to so-called literary English, or we're not doing those 4 lines as we usually are, but we do have one SWO line, or actually 2 SWO lines in each analysis conversion. So we are practicing the English anyway, although in a more, perhaps we can say, more crude way. Alright, so let's start with the first sentence here, and we are on, this is the A1 video then, and we have exercise 1. So we start with a Deva 1 line here, and we just write up the exercise itself. Jagaha te, end of sentence. And we do our transliteration. Translit 1. Long a, chaga, chag, a long a again, chagaha, visarga, te, end of sentence. And then we do our SWO English word but Sanskrit word order. The goats. So one chagah and many chagaha. The the goats, the many goats. And te, what is te now? Well, it's a pronoun, of course, but the difficulty here is that we have different pronouns that are spelled exactly the same thing, the same way. So we have one feminine pronoun te in the dual third person, and then we have another te in neuter third person for the dual. And but here, of course, chagaha is plural. So we have at least 3 goats that we're dealing with here. And therefore, since we have plural, then this te over here must be the masculine variant. So they all am. They all am. And this refers to the goats. So that clicks with the goats also, because the goats end in aha with the visarga there, and that is typical masculine declension. So the syntax seems to be all right. We have the masculine plural that we're working with here. Alright, so now what we do, the last thing we do here on the SO1 line is that we indicate the implicit verb. So our task is to convert this nominal sentence to a verbal sentence. So we are here indicating, as always, what the implicit verb is. So they all am is the subject. Okay, so let's indicate the subject here. And the goats is the subject complement, or it's the noun predicate. Those terms are used basically interchangeably by different Sanskrit grammarians, and also other, I think in English also you talk about subject complement, or at least complement. But anyway, so this is the terminology here. We are going to specify what the verb is, and the verb has to rhyme with, not rhyme with, it has to jive with, has to correspond to the subject. So they all am is a plural one. So they all are. And of course, when we're talking about transforming into a verbal sentence, this implies asti, right? So it's about some form of asti that we are supplying. It's not just any verb, but it's a copula. It's asti. They all are. And now there's only one thing more we should do with the SO line. We should indicate what the syntax of this nominal sentence is. And that amounts to determining where is the subject in relation to the complement. And here the subject stands last in the sentence instead of first, so therefore we are looking at syntax B. B. Alright, so now our analysis is done. Analysis. And now we just do our usual divider here to indicate that we now are going the other way. We're going to do our conversion. And our first step on the SVO2 line, when we are going this direction from nominal to verbal, is that we are going to make the verb explicit. So this is the sort of the idea. So we're skipping the parentheses and we do this first. So now we only have the two other words to go, and since we know this is a B syntax, then we know that we are going to flip the subject and the complement. So let's do that. They all am, and the many goats. No, I don't have to write it, but the goats. So our graphic look then is we're doing this X shape here, where we are flipping. Okay, good. And we do our translate to line. They all am, so te now stands there, and then comes chagaha, plural, right? And of course, now we have to add our Copula, our asti variant. So then the question is, what is the form now? Third person plural. And the form is santi. Okay, so now that is done, and now we do our last Deva 2 line, where we just produce this in Devanagari instead. Like that. And we should have it should be a long A there. Alright, we have to adjust this long A here. Sorry about that. My bad. Let's fixing that up. Te chagaha santi. And we can make that, maybe beautify this a little bit also to make it more vertical and, well, a little better. Okay, so now the conversion is done. Te chagaha santi. Good. Now let's take exercise number 2. 2, let's just do that there. And we have Deva 1, Translate 1, and we can start with this SWO 1. And we're still going from nominal to verbal, and we are writing up Uyam. Oh well, I'll make this a little better. Uyam Chauraha. Chauraha. So we do our transliteration. Uyam. Oh, not in English. Uyam. Chauraha. A long ah here, indicating plural, masculine plural. And on our SWO line, as always, we are adding the verb at the very end here. So, but Uyam is a pronoun, Chauraha is one thief, but now we have Chauraha, so that we have many thieves. The many thieves. And we are adding the verb, so we'll have to say something like that. You all are. And if we are looking at the syntax here, we see that the pronoun here stands first, okay, and the subject complement here, noun predicate, is last, and then we have the implicit verb then. And since we have this order, subject stands first, we know that the nominal sentence have the syntax A here. So we indicate that there, and our analysis is done. Okay, now we do our usual divider line. And I'm sure you can do this divider line much nicer than I can. But well, we all have our quirks. Transliteration 2 and SWO 2, like that, and we are now so the first step always here is we do the verb first. So our goal is to make this into a verbal type of sentence, so we just skip the parentheses. You all are, and we indicate that straight down there, as always. So this is always straight down. There's no diagonal arrows going here from the verb there. However, on this side here, when talking about the subject and the complement, we may or may not do that. That depends on the syntax. But now, of course, we have a syntax, not B, but A. So then we just go down, straight down with the subject. So it's you all. So the word order remains then. The thieves. And the arrows are straight. Okay, and we should have a full stop there. And we just transliterate this again. Uyam Chauraha. And then we have to supply the word for you all are. Second person plural. So that's just sta. And we do our end of sentence there, end of clause, and we do simply a uyam Chauraha. An S there for the verb and a ta for the ending. And we remind now that in the dual and in the plural we don't have us, although the stem is us, officially speaking, or the sort of not the stem, the root. The root is us for asti, but that as only remains in the singular. So you have asmi and asi and asti. But when we go to the dual and plural, the a in us drops out and becomes only an s. So that's the s here in sta. Okay, so now we just end of sentence there, and the conversion is done. Uyam Chauraha sta. Okay, let's move on to the third and last exercise for this video. We are on number 3. We do our deva one line, translit one line, and svo 1. So we have Krishna Gaha Krishna Gaha Vayam. End of sentence. And we just write this out with transliteration. Oh, not Krishna, but Krishna Gaha. vayam. Like that. And here we're talking about those who are, I don't know what it's called in English, plowing, I think, or plowing. Plowing or plowing. Perhaps it's plowing, actually. Yeah, the farmers. Those are the guys. The many farmers. The farmers. And vayam, we all. So we're talking about plural, and we're talking about first person. We all. And then we supply the implicit verb, which is we all are. Because we all, the pronoun must be the subject. Subject and subject complement, noun, predicate. Like that. So the verb, well, we don't write it out there, we can just have it like that. And because the subject here is not standing first in the sentence, we know that this nominal sentence, Krishakaha vayam, is of syntax B. So that concludes our first part here with the analysis. And we do our divider. And with our SWO2 line, translit 2 line, and Deva 2 line. So we know then that what we want is to create the verbal sentence, so we skip the parentheses and we make it real. And we always do this straight down there. And now what remains is only to rearrange the subject and the complement. And we know, since we have syntax B here already established, we now move, because the subject always stands first in the typical verb sentence in Sanskrit. That's the default word order for, at least if we're talking about prose. We're not talking about some verses in the Gita or something like that, but we're talking about prose now. Okay, so we all, the farmers, we all are. And the transliteration then is that we have the pronoun vayam, we have the plowers, the field workers, the farmers, Krishna Kaha. Okay, and then we all are. And once again, we have to supply this. We have to know that the pronoun or the verb there is smaha in first person plural, corresponding to vayam. Okay, so now we just make this into Devanagari here. Vayam Krisha Gaha. And we have this lonely S there from the root, and we have Maha there. And this of course rhymes then, so if we would use bhavati instead of asti, then we would have bhavamaha there. So smaha bhavamaha. So that's the same ending there. So it sort of fits together. Okay, and then we just properly end our sentences here, not some sloppy variant, and we end this with the word conversion here, so we know what we're talking about. So this should be our result. We're starting off with Krisha Kaha Vayam, and as a nominal sentence, and now we converted it to Vayam Krisha Kaha Smaha. And that concludes our first video here, our first exercise video here in lesson 15. And I hope you've had a good time, and I wish you a very pleasant day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.